Hello everyone, welcome to the 4th episode of Road to Grandmaster. This episode's going to be fairly similar to the previous. I don't think I'm going to introduce many new things. Almost at the 500 rating mark. Our opponent is 750. Let's see how this game goes. I think we're all very familiar with the build order at this point. And just like previous video, I'm gonna make 2 light assault bots, gonna bring 2 scouts. Let's think about where to attack. Just a middle reclaim, so the engineer could go like this, he could go like this, or it could go like this. And I'm gonna choose to attack on the 2 sides. I think they are more relevant than the middle. First engineer, I'm gonna expand somewhere safe for starters. And that'll give me the time that I need to micro these light assault bots. Gonna give each of them a scout. And I think by the time this engineer is done, and I give it some orders, the light assault bots will have found a target. So let's expand over here. I'm probably not going to get that far, but we'll see what we can do. I accidentally made another lab. Whoops, that was not supposed to happen. 2 labs even. Well, I guess we're playing very aggressive. Yeah, you shouldn't make that many, in my opinion. These 2 are overkill, but we can send them to the middle, where we don't have anything yet. And that is a fast-moving unit. That is not an engineer. Let's run past it, since he seems to miss. That one's slow. That's probably an engineer. Indeed it is. In previous episode, one of my light assault bots was reclaimed. So let's not get close to engineers anymore, if we don't have to. And this guy also sees an engineer that is building a factory, so let's go kill it. And then power's pretty low. We have some engineers, so let's just drag a line of power. And the factory we're going to give the same queue as always. So there is something coming. It's slow. But the thing is, I don't think that it's an engineer because it moves with confidence. Like, would an engineer run at a lab? I don't think so, so I'm going to retreat. And in the meantime, we are also getting raided. Let's dedicate some tanks. Actually, I do have some mass for another factory. So let's get it. 1 tank to the left, 1 tank to the right. And let's re-queue some expansions. Unfortunately, while we're queuing this stuff up, the light assault bot managed to slip by, but I'm not going to retreat this one, it's too far away. Let's just wait for a new tank to come out. We can send it back. And I think it's about time for an air factory. You don't want to be too late with it, remember? This is not exactly a 10-kilometer map. It's kind of small because of the outside edges. But it's functionally the same. That is too fast to be an engineer. But there's some engineers over here, so let's see what we can do. And let's just start with Scout and 3 interceptors. I don't know if he has air or not. It'd be risky to find out. Fortunately, my light assault bots all die. The tanks run past my lab, so let's see if I can catch an engineer behind them. I don't see anything. We're just going to keep running. That probably doesn't matter that much. Let's get a scout on their base. expand to the middle. We could send some more engineers to the sides in case the one we have dies. I think we're good on spending resources for now until we have more mass. So the ACU is in the middle, making a factory. And there's an engineer here that we can kill. So let's go ahead. Here's a Tech 2 mass extractor. That is early. Yeah, you want to fight for map control first. Tech 1 mass extractors are way more efficient than Tech 2. So our opponent would have been better off making more tanks and expanding to Tech 1 mass extractors. Our mass is filling up, so let's build another factory. Because we are kind of getting beat on one side of the map. Let's pull these units back. We don't want to keep taking bad trades. We can sacrifice these mass extractors, pull back to here. And our engineer at the top did in fact die. Now I could just make the mass extractors and get on with my day, but I have mass in storage. 3 engineers is quite a bit of build power. I'm gonna rush a quick factory, then a radar. It's gonna help a lot with grabbing this expansion. And also the stuff up here. And there we go, we collect our units, and that's enough to kill this attack completely instead of continuing to take bad trades. So I'm gonna, this is a forward factory, I'm gonna make an engineer and a bunch of tanks. And I'm gonna make some more power, we are slightly low. And then build another land factory. Tech 2 feels like a big investment to make here. And I see a bomber and no interceptors, so let's just go in with our interceptors. And that's 5 against 0, that's plenty to get some aggression going. I'm gonna take some engineers, put them on air, and just make a couple bombers. And then back to the Scout 3 interceptor queue. Now here you see why the factory was useful. All of my engineers ended up dying while I wasn't looking. Let's finally send an engineer up here, shall we? I'm gonna send my air to the base, patrol over it, kill anything new that he built. Okay, he has an anti-air, so let's retreat actually. Activate this factory. And there's an attack here. I'm gonna ignore it for now, because I can also just counterattack him here. I think there's nothing there. Yeah, indeed there isn't. He's been sending a lot of units to the middle. I don't need this entire army to kill some mass extractors. But, you know what? I'll send it all. It's fine. We have our 3 bombers. The reason I made 3 is because that's a pretty good amount to snipe power generators, but he's been making a bunch of anti-air, so I'm gonna hold on to them for now. And here comes the army. I'm gonna retreat back here. These will go like this, these will go like this, and collect in a nice formation. I'm gonna bring some scouts, but I think I'll be able to deal with this army, so there was no need. And now the ACU is shooting our tanks at the top. Let's retreat. And bring some more tanks up here. And actually this is a lot of engineers to have on air production, but it isn't going to be too useful, you know. I have 12 interceptors, he probably doesn't have that many. He also has anti-air in his base, so Tech 1 air doesn't really work well against that. Look at the amount of anti-air that he's built. We have more units here, so I'm just gonna go in. Let's try to get this expansion, part 7. Split off some tanks to raid the top. We're gonna chase it down. Kill this thing off at the bottom. I'm gonna use the outskirts of the map actually. Let's finally put these bombers to use. Well, since he has a radar here, I'm gonna go on the other side. We're gonna bomb power as much as we can. I feel like he has a decent bit of mass, and power is the limiting factor. I don't know if I killed the mantis, so let's not... Yeah, they actually survived. Let's send another one. And let's also send some more engineers to the top. Some more to the left. That's a big army building in the middle. Gonna need to be careful. But it's divided, as you can see. It's like 2 rows, so let's take on one side. It's gonna be a favorable trade for us. Actually, this seems to be all of his mobile anti-air. So mobile anti-air from Cybern can shoot land units, but it's not strong at all. It's very inaccurate, low DPS. I'm gonna retreat here a bit. So this is an easy win for us. But now he's pushing in the expansion, and that's more important than killing some anti-air. So I'm gonna move up. Gonna take these engineers. Retake the mass extractors. Gonna take these. Queue the hydros. Maybe a radar. Would help us a lot. This might be the ACU, indeed it is. We have a point defense. Let's build the mass extractor. My expansion is looking pretty safe now. My radaring ends here, so clearly I can't see very far. Let's build a radar here. I'm gonna drag my factory value with shift, holding down shift, and then clicking and dragging. And army seems to be similar on the left. Our bombers are actually doing some damage here. Not sure how impactful it is, but it's doing something. It's a small fight we can win. Like 15 against 3. And I think we can keep going. Most of his army's in the middle. And he's evacuating the middle to help the bottom, so let's put some pressure on the middle to make him pull back, hopefully, so that we can keep attacking his expansion. Don't want to push too far. In fact, I'm gonna go up here, kill everything he has up here. Even if the army chases me, it'll be busy for a long time, and that's good enough for me. But I'm curious, can I push through the middle now? And maybe kill some factories. We're gonna see just how much he has left. I do have a scout or 2. Okay, this is good for us. And yeah, he doesn't end up chasing the army up here. So I'm gonna have some mantis kill some mass extractors, and the other units stay back to hopefully kill this factory. That will make it harder for him to retake the mass extractors that I'm about to kill here. His ACU is attacking my expansion. That is problematic. Actually, I think I can retreat. He's getting pretty low because of the point defense. Let's see if I can bring back my army and kill him. I have some more bombers ready as well, because I am down on eco, maybe, because of the Tech 2 mass extractors. I'm down on tech. I'm curious to see if we can just kill him. Oh, there's a Tech 2 tank. Might not be able to, but I think it's our last hope. In case we fail, let's go Tech 2. Not sure if that's gonna work. Okay, looks like it isn't. That is unfortunate, and it might lose us the game. but it is a gamble that I had to go for. Let's see if these tanks can interrupt his expansion once more. Now, as soon as I have Tech 2, I'm going to stop making Tech 1 completely, because I don't have the mass for it at all, as you can see. My mass is being spent completely, purely on this factory right here. Now, I don't know if there's a Tech 2 tank in here, so even though my army's bigger, I'm going to retreat. I'm going to retreat these engineers as well. And once this Rhino reinforces the army, I'll be more confident to take on the fight. If I lose these mass extractors, it's fine. I can rebuild them pretty quickly. And now the Rhino's here, so let's move in. Okay, there's 2 Rhinos for him, but I have a lot of supporting Tech 1. So I think this will be a win. Well, I don't think, I know for sure. But it's looking rough for us at the moment. Let's take these engineers, place another radar a little more forward. This factory is still making Tech 1 tanks, we're going to stop that as well. There's no need. That's a full Tech 1 army in the middle. We can put some pressure on it, or we can put pressure on his expansion. That would be more valuable. There is an army, but how big is it exactly? I don't get to see, so let's just go middle. He's putting some pressure on us, but he's coming from multiple sides. If I go down here, he can come down on me from the middle and sandwich my army, and that's not a good position to be in, so I have to take the long way around. And I think it's looking worse and worse for us. We are starting to lose out on map control. We might be able to get another good trade here. So let's send a scout, see what these units are made of. Let's not engage until the scout has revealed the units. Okay, we have way more than that, so we can kill this easily. There's another attack at the bottom. A Rhino comes out, maybe it can deal with it. This army is done for. Let's go down now. I think we can catch both. So that is pretty much a failed attack from our opponent. I'm gonna take all of my units, except for one Tech 2 tank. I'm gonna send it to finish this guy off. And I'm actually gonna stop building units for a second. Let's just get a very quick mass extractor, then I can continue making units. I'm down on mass and I need a way to catch up. Although I think it's too late. We're gonna keep trying. This is 2 Rhinos, we have 13. That's another easy win. Let's select our army. Cut him off from where he's trying to go. Let's take some more engineers. Build a radar here. Rebuild the mass. Now this is a pretty scary army. We can easily take care of the base he's built up here. Actually gonna queue another Tech 2 mass extractor. Let's requeue some tanks. Yeah, we haven't actually played Cyber and Tech 2 yet. I'm gonna try to go over the units that we have. You're about to see one of them. That invisible unit that just blew up my tanks. Okay, this fight isn't going well because of the invisible explosions. But I'll try to go over tanks real quick. This is basically the UEF Mongoose. It is a low HP, long range unit. Takes a lot of micro to use, so I would advise against it for lower rated players. This is your main tank, this is your go-to unit. This is amphibious, so it can travel across water, but it's not very good against tanks in comparison. Anti-air missile launcher stealth, you can hide from radar. And the fire beetle, the cloaked unit, which can hide from vision but not radar. And our opponent actually went ahead and made 2 land HQs, which is a bit of a mistake. If you saw the intro to my previous video. Skew another mass extractor, not because I have the mass, but out of necessity. And let's split off a tank to deal with this. Let's take some engineers to expand back to the top right. Yeah, our opponent wasted a lot of mass on these duplicate HQs. But he somehow has a lot more mass to work with than me, so it works out for him. I'm gonna treat these, let's say, Tech 2 point defense, a building with long range and fast projectile speed and firing rate for Cybern. Yeah, I'm gonna try one last desperate attack on his ACU and then I will call it quits. Let's take all of the engineers and make gunships. We have Tech 1 gunships, the Cybern. And his army is coming for our base. We don't want to die before we kill him, of course, so let's make a point defense. That should help reduce the ACU a tiny bit. And let's go in. He has a flak, actually. Tech 2 anti-air has AoE damage. It's gonna destroy any air we send at it. Plus it just blew up my army, so snipe isn't gonna work. So GG's to General Cookie. We take a loss starting off the episode, but I'm gonna watch the replay and see exactly what went wrong for us, why we fell behind on mass so hard, and what I'm gonna do in future games from now on. Alright, here we are. We are in the replay, and I'm basically just going to show you how I suggest you to go over your replays, and the point is to look for the turning point in the game. When did it start going south? And we'll be seeing the Azoth scoreboard mod in action for the first time now, and the most useful features are you can see the mass income, you can see the total mass, you can see mass reclaimed, you can see the score, and you can see the kill-death ratio in mass value. So every once in a while I recommend you compare your mass income, you compare your total mass, you compare reclaimed mass, you compare score, you compare kill-death ratio, and eventually if you lost a game, those values will tilt in your opponent's favor. And I'm going to look for that point in time and see what might have caused it. So let's speed the game up a bit. I built 2 light assault bots, 2 additional ones by accident. But here's the first mistake, I suppose. My light assault bots do good damage, but I noticed this unit here and I just completely forgot to react to it. I could have sent these 2 labs to deal with it, and this engineer would have lived. Let's continue speeding up a bit. Mass income is the same, mass reclaimed is the same, total mass slightly ahead, but it's negligible. Speed up a bit more. Look at my POV, slight power stall, build wasn't perfect. But yeah, I did good damage to him, but I also let him do good damage to me. Which happens, you can't defend everything. But this could have been prevented. Still doing fine on mass income. Total mass. Kill death ratio is fine. Let's speed up a bit. We're still doing good here. Another thing to compare is unit count and factory count to look for missed opportunities. For example, if I have 5 tanks and he has 0, I could be a whole lot more aggressive than I am. But he has 5 tanks as well, so this is not a missed opportunity yet. And also look at factory count. If you are ever at like 3 factories and your opponent is at 6 and you lose map control 2 minutes later, you can figure out why. So let's speed up again. Game still looks fine. At minute 5. We go back into full view. So, 1 missed opportunity so far. Actually, about that, let's check unit count. 13 Mantis against 15, so nothing wrong there. But the air game is completely different, completely separate from land. I have 2 interceptors, and he doesn't even have an air factory, so that's a missed opportunity. When I scouted, I could have instantly queued a bomber in my factory and tried to do something. This engineer could die, for example. I'm ahead in total income for the time being, despite him having a Tech 2 mass extractor. He's been struggling to expand. Total mass still even. He's ahead in score, probably because of the Tech 2 mass extractor. 16 Mantis against 15. Kill death ratio is not looking good for me. I took a bad trade here earlier. It was like 1 Mantis, 1 anti-air, 1 scout, 1 artillery against 5 Mantis. Didn't go well for me. D has more eco now. So let's keep tabs on the total mass. See how that evolves in the next couple minutes. Okay, mass reclaimed is a difference. Of course I can't reclaim yet. But that's something to keep an eye out for in your own games. So he's still ahead in mass income, as you can see. It's because of these 2 T2 mass extractors. Now how can he possibly get away with 2 T2 mass extractors and I don't get anything in return? So let's see if I missed any opportunities, except for air, of course. 29 Mantis against 21, so a small difference, but nothing too major. This is a missed opportunity. This could be getting raided. It's completely undefended. Okay, I do actually go for it, so that's good. But yeah, a couple things to note so far is I struggled to keep this alive. The engineers here died multiple times, I think 2 or 3 times. So I never could secure this, despite having more units. At the same time, engineers have repeatedly died over here, which also slowed down expansion over here. And I'm losing tanks to the ACU, so his ACU is getting value and mine isn't. Here he comes again, killing some mass extractors. Knocking my eco down a little bit. Total mass is now 1,000 ahead for him. Roughly, could be 500. It's rounded. 700 reclaimed. Unit kill death ratio is still not amazing. And would you look at this? 13 interceptors versus 3. So, to be honest, I don't think air is too valuable on a map like this. Land is much more pressing, much more immediate, let's say. So, I may have overbuilt interceptors a bit. And, I mean, to make it work, I could go T2A or something. Sounds a little crazy, which it is. But it could be used to punish this air advantage that I have. So he's 6 mass income ahead now. And officially over 1,000 total mass over me. And it's because I struggle to expand, really. My engineers just keep dying every time I try to go somewhere, and I mean, he has the same issue over here, but he doesn't have the same issue over here, so he can get away with less units than me. And with that excess mass, he makes Tech 2 mass extractors, which is eventually what puts him ahead of me. And this entire side would be dead right now to this army if this ACU wasn't here. So his ACU just being here protects these 3 mass extractors, 4 if he decided to build it. It puts pressure constantly on my expansion just by standing here. He could walk in any time. And I don't have that advantage. I can be attacked, I can lose my engineers on this side the entire time. And every time engineers die, I have to send new ones to expand. Plus, engineers, of course, are not a threat. They're not pressuring to push into this expansion. So, I think the main problem here. Let's look at unit count. 45 to 22. I have a massive lead in land units, but I struggle to use it because I have to keep some here to defend against the ACU. Meaning, he can send all of his units to the middle and the bottom, and I have to spread my units everywhere. Now, it would help me a lot if my ACU could just stand here and protect the expansion. Or, I mean, even look at how exposed he is. If my ACU was here together with this army, I could just kill him. But let's say he wasn't standing there, all suicidal. I could protect this expansion, and I would have more units in the middle, and more units at the bottom, and I could be putting some serious pressure, and maybe even finally getting these mass extractors, maybe even these. So this ACU standing here is a massive disadvantage. The ACU really is an extremely useful tool in expansion, because it's not only 20 tanks, it's also 20 tanks with build power. So I mean, putting the ACU here just locks it down the entire game, basically, if you play it wisely. Now this is another example. I mean, I get his ACU extremely low. Imagine my ACU was here. He'd just be dead, right? I would have won the game right there. So it's scary to leave the base with your ACU, but especially on small maps like this, where it's not easy, super easy, to get an army big enough to deal with an ACU, the ACU's value just increases the less units there are on the map. So, huge missed opportunity to just be standing here, and because of that, I really struggle to expand. I really struggle to punish him for ecoing. Let's say I had an ACU and 20 tanks here, I could have pushed down the entire way. He couldn't have stopped me. I could have pushed down here way harder. So yeah, in the future, I will be using my ACU outside of my base. I'll be using it to expand to wherever I think is relevant, and I'll use it in combat as well. And I think that'll be a great help for smaller maps like this one, but also the regular sized 10-kilometer maps. So yeah, I mean, you can see for yourself, I'm very far behind in total mass now. Funnily enough, ahead in income, but it's because he's power stalling. And I mean, the kill-death ratio is fine, that's not the problem. It's just not being able to punish him for his greediness with the upgrades. And also, look at this, he's made 2 HQs, and each HQ you make is 830 mass more expensive for no reason. And I watched the replay earlier. He's making more soon. And eventually he wastes like 4,000, 5,000 mass on HQ upgrades. So yeah, don't make that mistake, guys. It is very expensive. It didn't cost him the game. He was that far ahead. But yeah, don't do that. But yeah, I'll end the replay here. This game is practically over now. It's too hard to recover from this mass deficit. So I'll also end the episode here, I think. The game was pretty long. Add the replay analysis, add some time. So yeah, in the future I'll be using my ECU. And thank you all for watching. I hope it was educational and informational, and I'll see you in the next one.